Hi, I'm Megan Hovey, founder and CEO of Hovey & Co., a relationship-centered accounting firm based in the heart of Kansas City, Missouri. I'm here today after advising business owners for 10 years now, helping them grow with clarity and purpose. I'm here to create a community because we're really thrive when we are in a small business community, and that's hard to come by. So let's come together, share our struggles and our issues. I like to say we can find fulfillment on the other side of the grind. It's hard to believe sometimes, but we can. So let's do that together. Today, we're going to talk about 3 mindset shifts we can apply when we're entrepreneurs and we're just getting started that can really see scale and massive impact if we're willing to kind of rethink some of the mindset that we have when we're coming in. So the first one of those is a shift from my vision to their value. And this, my mind will just always go back to my experience with my husband when I was starting my small business. It probably helped me that I was not trying to start a small business. I genuinely just was excited about the fact that people wanted my help with something. So they were coming to me for anything numbers related, taxes, accounting, administrative work, like you name it. And I was rolling up my sleeves and like, yeah, I'll help. I'll figure it out. I will help you. So a couple years in, I was seeing a lot of demand. I had a lot of clients flowing in from everywhere. And my husband, I think, saw that and thought that was neat. And he was a full-time software developer. So he said, well, I've been working on websites. I'm going to start my own thing. And, he can appreciate this story now, but he said, I'm going to name it Lemon Juice Websites. And he stood up this website for his own business. And it didn't look great because he's great at building software, not so great at designing it or the, interface. And again, he'll admit this himself, but it was so funny because I had been like, you're telling me you need something, I will figure out how to help you with it. And his motto was like, I'm going to build what I'm going to build, take it or leave it. And so he was going to do Drupal websites, which is pretty niche in and of itself. And he was going to do them a certain way. They were going to have, a certain number of pages. And again, it was very take it or leave it. And then he was confused when people weren't like flocking to him to build their websites. And I was telling him in the meantime, I had this kind of network of people I worked with, clients, peers. And I said, oh, hey, I'm seeing requests for people that want a WordPress website. They'll pay $2,000. Well, no, I don't do WordPress. Okay. I'm seeing someone who wants help like figuring out this maintenance issue with their website. You want to dig into that? No, I don't do that. Like, okay. So that idea was short-lived, but it created this contrast, this realization in me, like, people that really see scale quickly are willing to take that skill set that they have and apply it where it's most needed. So, listen, I have been interviewing professionals as my business has grown. We have to interview attorneys and marketing and IT. And it's amazing to me how few professionals really listen to their customers and their clients, like really engage in their story. What are you needing? What is your pain point? And really diving into that. For better or for worse, that's what I love to do is I love to hear people's story. I will take extra time. Oh, tell me about that detail. Tell me about this. And in turn, that helps me serve them very well. So, an example would be my second client maybe was in construction and I'm this fresh out of, Big Four accounting, no relevant experience whatsoever. And they needed accounting software. They needed to change accounting software. And so I said, I'll figure it out. I went out and interviewed different people in construction and figured out, well, what software are you using? And is it relevant for the size of this client that I have? And I rolled up my sleeves. I figured out a recommendation. I made that recommendation. And my willingness to say, I will figure it out turned into a long-term relationship where I got to help implement that software. I got to help work out accounting processes that would see their business succeed and grow with them all along the way. So I just challenge you to think about, what do people really need around me? Like, what's that need that's not being met? Listen to your community, listen to the people around you. Oftentimes people say, well, I want a business where I can work from home from this hour to this hour and, while my kids are napping, and that's what I want to do. That's okay. That's called a lifestyle business, but we just have to set expectations. If you want a business that's going to scale and you're going to really be able to create an enterprise, you have got to be open to what people need. And you may find something that no one else is doing. That's when the real magic happens, is you find something that's just a need, a concern, a problem that's not really being met in a consistent way, and you can take that and run with it. So, number one, let's shift our mindset from what do I want to do versus what do the people around me really need? What are they craving? What's going to add value to them? Number two, let's shift from looking legit to doing the work. So when I started, again, better or worse, I started with a very average laptop, $300 tax preparation software, and no office. When I did get an office a couple months in, it was the size of a closet, and that's not a joke, and it's not an exaggeration. And my first client was a multi-million dollar net worth client. And that even today that surprises me that that's the case. But what they heard when we met was that I cared and I wanted to know, okay, what do you really need? And then I will serve that. They were interviewing a lot of firms that wanted to sell them because they knew of their net worth. They wanted to sell them on, lucrative products for the firm. So they wanted to sell them on investments and things like that. And I said, if what you're really needing is tax prep, then that's what I will do for you. So, I was just more motivated by what people needed versus, what I wanted to provide. And so it helped me not try to over invest like, oh, I need a 3-piece suit and a really fancy office with windows. I knew that at the time I needed software, I needed certain tools to get the job done. What happens when you say, I'm not going to overinvest, as my husband called me when we were working out together in dating years? He called me a geardo because that's where I'm not, that's where I don't excel is in working out. And so I'll buy the tennis shoes. I would, buy the app that's going to show me my weight training schedule, whatever. But I spent a lot of time doing that and less time on the workout. And so he appropriately labeled me a geardo. That happens in business where people are too afraid to get started. So they say, well, once I get this machinery, once I get this office, once I have this teammate, then I'll get started. No, you got to just jump in. You got to do it. So don't, worry so much about looking legit. Worry more about doing the work. And then as you do that work, you meet that need, revenue flows in, and you can take that and reinvest it and scale. When I started again, it was less than $1,000 of an investment on my end. And I built client by client. And today I have a business, that has 10 plus teammates in 2 locations. So believe that bootstrapping is a real thing. You can do it. You can meet a need, see profits from that and reinvest them to scale your business. So just know that you can do that. And this feeds really well into the third mindset shift we've got to make. And that is, we got to shift from feeling ready to feeling resourceful. When we hire people today, one of the absolute non-negotiables is a willingness and even an enjoyment in research. What people don't necessarily realize is that professional service providers, so lawyers, accountants, whomever, none of us can know everything there is to know. We like to tell people, there's like 100,000 pages of tax code. That's like a shocking fact. No one can literally know all of that inside and out. It's not possible. So a big part of our job is research. When a client has a nuanced situation or, just something that's unique, we have to be able to research to provide that professional answer to help get them the solution that they need. So you have got to shift from whether you're in baking or you're a mechanic or, you walk dogs, whatever the case may be, all of us have to have that ability and drive to research and find the right answer for our client in order to grow and to truly help people. So just shift from that to, feeling super ready. And once I get this certification, or once I get through this course, or once I have this piece of equipment, like that can just be a distraction to you. Where can you help somebody right now? What can you do today with your skill set? And then, grow that step by step. You can do it. You can push past that. I know of a gentleman, a friend of ours, that's a handyman on the side. He has a full-time logistics job, W-2 job. And on the side, he decided, I'm going to be a handyman. Well, he's not exactly super skilled in that area. And I did recommend that he get liability insurance, if nothing else. But he has been very successful because when people come to him, he says, what do you need help with? He gets, on YouTube, he does his research, he does it professionally, and then he applies that solution and he works with the customer to say, okay, do we like it? Do we need to correct it? But he's willing to take what comes. And so he has grown so much. Eventually, you will see so much demand. Again, bullet one, you're going to see so much demand that you're going to be able to kind of carve out a niche and figure out what you really do like. And there's going to be enough of a demand to provide that. But when you're starting out, figure out how to help people. Do the research you need to do to provide the service you need to provide for them to have value in that. So again, you don't have to be perfectly ready. And I don't care what industry you're in. If you think you're going to get to 100% ready, you're never going to start. So just go ahead, use the skill set you have, do the research you need to do, and serve that person well. And then from there, you're going to see success. It'll be incremental and you will scale. I've been working with small businesses for 10 years. I cannot believe how busy they all are. It doesn't even matter the industry. I work with manufacturers. I work with tech experts. I work in the medical field. You name it, I've helped in that industry. Small businesses are in such demand. So again, it's not about being 100% ready. It's about being 100% willing to do research when you don't know the answer, and you will get there. Thank you so much for joining. Hey, send me your messages, send me your questions, subscribe so we can keep this conversation going. I will answer you and I will use that content to help, decide on the next topic that we talk about. The whole goal of this is to come together to find fulfillment on the other side of the grind. Thanks for joining, and let's talk again soon.